Welcome to the Headley Highlight Show's Uplifting Corner. Now, before I jump into my Uplifting Corner this week, I always like to start with gratitude. So thank you to everyone who's been listening in, tuning in, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. I now have 2,060 subscribers and I'm aiming to get to 2,100. So please do like, share, comment, hype me, which is a facility on YouTube where you can, if once you engage, I get hype points, but you can also click the bell notification and select all, and you'll be there to hear all of my things as I upload them. Please also make a donation to denisehedley.com at my website, or you can jump all over my YouTube, which also has a donation facility there. And I'm very partial to 3 rings and chips. I did have that for dinner last night, darling, plus a Miranda. So let's jump all over this week's Uplifting Corner. My show often covers matters that deserve serious discussion, but in life we need light as well as darkness. So here is this week's contribution. This week, I'm going to read a beautiful piece of prose called Letting Go, the grace in accepting change. It's written from the point of view of an older person in retirement. I work with lots of mature people. I really do like working with mature people. And it's about, I'm hoping to be one day, as presumably so are you. It's about recognizing the need to accept change gracefully and peacefully and without regret. Although I'm not at that state in my life, not currently, the deepness of this message, it moved me, and I hope you feel the same. I don't know who the author is, but if you know, please let me know. And in addition to that, if you have an uplifting story that's about innovation, the triumph of a human spirit, an act of kindness, something fantastic, or motivational, healing, please do share it with me at denisehedley.com@gmail.com. Right, let's jump straight in. Letting go, the grace in accepting change. There was a time when I believed we had control over everything. Our days, our children, our careers, even the direction of life itself. We planned carefully and meticulously, held tight and steadfast to our dreams, our routines, and to people and emotions. And perhaps that was what was needed then. Life asked us to build, create foundations, to care, to lead, to protect. But slowly, life shifts. One by one, the things we hold so tightly start slipping away. Not always with pain, but sometimes quietly, with dignity, slowly, and unnoticed. The children grow up and they move away, not from a position of disregard, but because they must. That's the cycle. They need to build their own lives. Beloved homes are sold, not because they weren't cherished, but because climbing those stairs became harder and more fearful. Our roles as managers, mothers, fathers, engineers, uncles, teachers, grandparents fade into the background like names written in soft golden sand. And then there's a moment on a quiet afternoon, perhaps when we look around and realize life has changed. The people we used to call every day now send us messages. The faces around us are new. Even our own reflection carries gentle lines we never noticed forming. But instead of grief, regret, something else begins to settle in. Peace. We understand slowly that letting go is not about losing. It's about making room for other things. Stillness, peace, reflection, forgiveness, love. Letting go means slowly allowing our hearts to carry memories without chains. It means accepting that we are no longer the center of the world, but we are part of it, deeply, beautifully, and fully. Letting go is not weakness, it's grace. The grace of the river that flows forward, not resisting the rocks, but dancing around them, skirting and kissing them. In these years, when the world becomes quieter, we learn the strength of acceptance. We hold less, but we feel so much more. We chase less and we appreciate more. We speak less, but what we say carries depth. I had to take a breather, just because you know where that was going. Take it down, Dee. And so we sit by the window with our cup of tea, or a glass of wine, or a lemon barley water. And we might even engage in a bourbon or a digestive. And we smile. And we even chuckle. Not because life was perfect, but because we lived, we loved, and we let go with grace. Now, while I was reading that, quite a few times I had to pause because that hit me so deeply. That was lower dermis, people. It was left ventricle pumping deeply in one's heart. Because I'm at the stage in my life where I would say I've had over half a century plus 4. You lot could do the maths. And things have changed considerably for me in terms of, my family life, my children, the young adults, the whole cycle of parenting, rearing, letting go, changing direction, reforming yourself from, many times ashes, when you're feeling absolutely pulverized, vaporized, in fact, but you still have to reinvent yourself somehow, because the choice is either you stay there languishing and eventually probably turning into some bitter mush of an individual, or you do something about it and you just accept it and try to move on. And I think that's what this bit of prose is. I added little bits in when I was reading it, just to give more emphasis, but also to just feel the real depth of the words, and to just look at yourself and to look at myself while I was doing it, to give it that sense of emotion. And when I think about what it's trying to say, it's trying to say that, look, you're going to go through so many different stages of your life, excuse me, and not all of them are going to be as you would like them to be or assume that they're going to turn out. And if you're fortunate enough, because not everybody lives to a ripe old age, some people don't make that place, but when you do, if you are fortunate enough to live to a ripe to an old age, and the world's changed, you've changed, and your environment's changed, don't look back with sorrow. Don't feel sad. Feel that you have, feel that those years are full of life, and anything that's coming is still full of life, because things do change, and health situations, financial situations, lived situations with your home and whatever, things have to change, because that's the only thing that's consistent. Change, death, and taxes. Sorry to be so blunt. They're the main 3 things that we know are going to happen. But you do age, and if you're fortunate enough to get there, there's going to be a time where you have to sit there and chill out. And I'm thinking about that myself. How am I going to be as a mature person, sitting down, looking out the window with more likely a cup of tea, possibly, maybe a glass of wine if one's liver is still intact. She says with a joke. But essentially, sitting there and just being peaceful and quiet How's that going to work for you, D? I have no idea, especially with a mind that racist, such as mine. So maybe this is a lesson for me and maybe for you. I hope you liked it. My God, this has gone on for 10 minutes. Let me stop talking. I hope you liked that, along with my musings. And this was cut too, because when I did the first one, OM Majiji, I was just booing. I was like, people are not coming to the show to hear you bawl every week, Denise. So I had to do, this is take number 2. And I hope you like it. Don't forget to make a donation. Like, share, retweet, boost, and give me your listening ear next week, please, because I'd very much appreciate that. See you then. And cut! Oh, it's DeniseHeadley.com. Don't forget to subscribe. And cut again. Bye.